Hello everyone. People ask me to shoot a video to show them how to do the angle setting for this Katoku shear sharpening guide. So today I'm going to use this Katoku shear sharpening guide to do the angle setting for a right hand shear and a left hand shear. Okay, so this is a right hand shear. This is the inside of the shear, the flat side of it. The flat side of the shear, no matter right hand shear or left hand shear, the flat side of it always go against this side of the wall. So this is a flat side, go against that side of the wall. So this is a right hand shear, and this is a left hand shear. All right. The only difference between the right hand shear and the right hand shear is once we set it down onto the clamp, the left hand shear, the cutting edge will face upward, facing towards you yourself. The right hand shear is when you set it down on the clamp, the cutting edge will face down to the hole. Okay. Again, the flat side go against the left side of the wall, and when we set it down onto the clamp, we want to make sure we tighten down good. Otherwise, when we're doing the sharpening, they will move around like that and they will affect your work. So we set it down and tighten it down good. Okay, so now this is a right hand shear, so we're going to set the angle for the right hand shear. Before we do that, I need to tell you a little bit about this guy. This sharpening guide has two pins. One pin from the bottom, one pin from the top. The bottom pin, we call it the guiding pin. The top pin, we call it the rolling pin or the moving pin. Both pins must work against each other for the guide to work. So if they're like that, they don't really come and touching each other, the guide doesn't work. So they must go against each other for the guide to work. When we are doing the right hand shear setting, the guiding pin, the bottom pin, will be on the left side of the top pin. So let's say the bottom pin coming up to 45 degrees. The top pin, the rolling pin, will travel from here to here, and then it will stop by the guiding pin. So this is how this guiding system works. Okay, this is how it works when we're doing the right hand shear. Okay, it will explain how it works on the left hand shears later. Okay, so again, when we're doing the angle setting for right hand shear, the bottom pin will come on the left side of the top pin, of the rolling pin. So we will turn two pins against each other. Now the bottom pin and the top pin, they are now against each other. They're going like that. So they're against each other, and then we move the letter R, stand for right hand shear. We're setting the angle for right hand shear, so we use the R. Okay, so we move the R. Let's say for now we move to 45 degrees. We want to set the guide to 45 degrees. We will snug the bolt first. When we snug the bolts, we can still do a little fine adjustment, just in case if I want to say, okay, you know, maybe I should change it to 40 degrees. I can still move to 40 degrees, but the thing will not be like flopping around. You have better control of the angle adjustment. Once we find the pin, the marker on the desired angle setting, then we tie down the bolt. Now the guiding pin now is setting on 40 degrees, but the top pin, the rolling pin, can still roll between here and to the back. So what it does is, now the cutting edge has the angle at 40 degrees. It cannot go any lower. It cannot go to 35 or 30. It can only go down to 40 degrees. But at the same time, I can still roll the shear back to do the convexing. We need this feature when we're doing Japanese style shear, which is convex cutting edge shear. So we have the edge at 40 degrees, but at the same time we can still roll the shear back to do the convexing technique. Okay, let's do that one more time. Let's see how it works. Again, this is the guiding pin and this is the rolling pin. When we're doing the right hand shear, the guiding pin come onto the left of the rolling pin. So they will have to go in and work against each other. Now move the R to 45. Snug it first. Do a little fine adjustment. Okay. Now I like it at 50 degrees. And tight down the bolts. Now this guy, the guiding pin is at 50 degrees. The top pin can travel between the 50 degrees and to the back. It cannot go any beyond 50 degrees. So that means this cutting edge can only at 50 degrees. It cannot go beyond. But you can still roll back to do the convexing technique. Okay, this is how you set the angle for the right hand shear. Okay, now this is a left hand shear. Like we talked about earlier, the flat side of it, the inside of it, always go against the side of the wall. And we want to tie it down good. Okay, now we talk about the pin again. Bottom pin, top pin. When we're doing the right hand shear, the bottom pin go on the left side of the top pin. While we're doing the left hand shear now, the guiding pin will have to come to the right side of the top pin of the rolling pin. Okay, so we will have to roll them this way now. We will have to roll them this way. Now we're doing the left hand shear, so we ignore this R now. We're doing the left hand shear. We want to find the L. So we're going this way. So two pin were against each other this way, while we're moving the R. Not the R, sorry, the L to the desired angle. Again, we stop at 45. Okay. in sharpening, 45 degrees is very common angle. You use it a lot. Anyway, now, okay, so let's say we set at 45 degrees. Okay, so we tighten down the bolt. Okay, now the guiding pin is set at 45 degrees right here, and then the rolling pin can travel between here to 45 degree. So that's mean this cutting edge right now down at the home is at 45 degrees, but I can still roll backward to do the work to the back of the shear to do the convexing technique. Right? The edge is at 45, but I can roll back to do the convexing technique. Okay, let's do it one more time. Let's do it one more time. Okay, bottom pin, top pin, guiding pin, rolling pin. When we're doing the left hand shear, the guiding pin, the bottom pin will be on the right side of the top pin. So we will work the guide this way. Sorry, this way. Do it again. They're going in this way. Right, we're going in this way, and then move the letter L. Ignore the R. We're doing the left hand shear, so move the L. Now let's say to 50 degrees, and then snug it. And let's say we want to do not 50 degrees now, we want to do 40 degrees. We can still do the fine adjustment before we tighten down the bolt. Okay, so now this guy is set at 40 degrees, but you can still roll back to do the convexing technique. Okay, on the angle for the left hand shears, I need to talk about the angle setting. This reading here, the 45 and then 50 and then 55, is the angles reading for the right hand shears setting. So when we're doing the left hand shears setting, we will read the number as exact opposite, which is mean right now the L is on 40 degrees. Is actually is exact opposite, which is 50 degrees instead of 40. However, because of this reading is for right hand shears, so when we're doing the left hand shears, the angle will be go exact opposite. Okay, I hope this is not too confusing, but when you setting the shear backward to the right hand shears, so it's pretty easy to understand that, you know, we were using exact opposite angle. So when we set the L to 40 degrees, actually the L should be at 50 degrees instead of 40 degrees. Again, because of this reading is for right hand shear. So when we're doing the left hand shears angle setting, we will read the reading to the exact opposite. Okay, so this is the one thing that may confuse you for the left hand shear setting. Okay.